Today, we're talking about Netflix's new movie Apex Together, starring Charlize Theron and Taron Egerton. This film is actually not just an ordinary action movie. It's a brutal story set in the wilds of Australia, combining psychological tension with a survival narrative. We're going to take a detailed look at what will happen in the film, what the story is really telling us, what kind of atmosphere is waiting for us, and whether this movie can actually live up to expectations. If you enjoy this kind of film analysis, new releases, and Netflix content, don't forget to subscribe and like the video before we begin. At first glance, Apex may look like Charlize Theron's next action movie, but what's really waiting for us here is a much harsher, tenser, and more psychological survival story. According to Netflix's official information, at the center of the film is a woman named Sasha, who is trying to pull herself back together after a major loss. Sasha goes into the wilds of Australia to clear her head and be alone. But for her, this trip stops being an escape or a healing process and turns into a full-on fight for survival. Because someone, even more dangerous than the challenges of nature itself, crosses Sasha's path, Ben. This character, played by Taron Egerton, does not come across like an ordinary villain. According to the official description, Ben does not see himself as a killer, but as a hunter. He moves according to a logic he has built inside his own mind, and he makes Sasha his next target. So what we'll be watching in this film is not just a chase, it's a twisted hunting game with its own rules. And that's exactly what pushes Apex beyond being a straightforward action movie and turns it into something much more disturbing and tense. One of the strongest aspects of the film also seems like it will be the environment where the story takes place. Apex is set in the harsh and unforgiving natural landscapes of Australia. Cliffs, rocky terrain, fast-moving water, dense forests, and isolated land are among the most important elements shaping the film's atmosphere. As director Baltasar Kormákur especially emphasized, nature here is not just a backdrop, it almost feels like one of the film's hidden characters. So Sasha will not only be running from Ben, she will also have to fight against the wilderness itself. That's why we can actually say there are two different battles at the center of Apex. On one side, there is Sasha's physical struggle to survive. On the other, there is her emotional fight to stay standing. Charlize Theron's own comments especially highlight this point. The film is not trying to be just a story that pushes the limits of the body. It is also trying to show how a person is shaped by pain, loss, fear, and helplessness. So Sasha's fight in the wilderness seems like it will also represent the battle she is fighting inside herself. Ben, as a character, makes this story even more dangerous, because he is not just someone who attacks, he is someone who plays with the psychology of the prey. From what we saw in the trailer, he gives Sasha a certain amount of time to run, and then he begins his hunting game. So this film offers a little more than the classic run-and-survive formula. Here, tension, time pressure, and psychological dominance also come into play. Ben wanting to frighten Sasha, wear her down, and break her mentally could push the film into a much darker place than a simple survival story. Charlize Theron's performance in this film is already creating a lot of curiosity, because Sasha is not just someone who has to look strong. She is a woman who is broken, in pain, but still trying not to give up. Taron has already proven for years how powerful she is in roles that require action and physical performance. But in Apex, it seems the issue is not just about fighting or running. Here, the exhaustion on the character's face, her moments of decision, her fear, and her instinct to keep resisting will likely matter just as much as the action scenes themselves. As for the action side, it looks like the film won't be holding back there either. According to the official information, Charlize Theron and Taron Egerton performed many of their own stunts in the film. Theron also worked with professional rock climber Beth Rodden to make the character's physicality more believable. And that tells us this: the struggle we'll see in Apex may not be just a fake, purely constructed kind of action. Especially scenes involving climbing, the danger of falling, escaping across rocky terrain, and direct contact with nature could become some of the film's harshest moments. On Taron Egerton's side, there's a very interesting reversal here. We're used to seeing him more often in sympathetic roles or on the heroic side, but here he appears as a much darker and much more threatening character. The fact that Ben describes himself as a hero in his own version of the story makes it feel like this character will not just be some madman, but someone dangerous with his own belief system. And that could turn the conflict between Sasha and Ben from a simple good versus evil clash into a much more intense and disturbing psychological war. That's actually where the tone of the film is shaped. Apex will most likely not be a breathless, non-stop action movie, but more of a survival thriller that raises its tension step by step. So instead of constant explosive scenes, it seems more likely that silence, loneliness, the feeling of threat carried by the sounds of nature, and the prey versus hunter dynamic will come to the forefront. Especially when we look at the director's past work. We know he likes to use nature and danger not just as visual elements, but as pressure that tightens the story. That's why Apex's atmosphere could end up being one of the most unforgettable parts of the film. So yes, we've talked about everything we know and expect from Apex, And now it's your turn. Do you think this movie can really be a strong survival thriller? Or will it remain just a typical platform release? What are you expecting from Charlize Theron's performance? And do you think Taron Egerton's dark role will work? And most importantly, do you enjoy survival movies set in nature like this? Make sure to write your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it together. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.